Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, I just took a shower. Um, Welcome to the Riders Race. The winter race is on, and this is my little introduction video on this introduction post, and you will see a link in this post so that you can register onto the race. Now, I'm going to go through the form to explain it, and then you can fill it out. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Shared. And I'm going to zoom in here because it's very important that how do we enter full screen? There you go. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Perfect. Okay, so here's the full screen. The Riders Race presents the Winter Race. Okay, we're making this a little more official, and so here's a form so that you can register on whichever category. And let's go through this. Make sure everything is explained thoroughly. And if you have any questions, be sure to message me, or maybe we can even have a Q&A if there is enough questions. But it should be pretty straightforward. Um, so let's do this. The Writers Race presents the Winter Race. This is your chance to take your reading, branding, writing influence to the next level. You don't have to join this race to enjoy our community. You don't have to fill out this form, is basically what I'm trying to say here. You don't have to participate at all to be in the community. You can just hang out in the community. Um, but you do have to be a member of the community to join the race. The other way around is necessary. So, I mean, you can share the form's link to other friends, but if those friends aren't in the community, their names are not going to appear on the leaderboards. We will make sure that every person uh, that signs up on the form is also in the community because you guys, well, that's the point of the community. That's the privilege, right? So, as a community, we promise to push you and hold you accountable according to your goals and desires. So, we're getting to know each other every single month just a little bit more, and that's exciting. So, this is us keeping that promise of holding each other accountable. So, let's do this, and let's do this in a fun way. This is what the race is all about. Is it's basically turning our our goals into a game. And just like a video game, you level up and you enjoy the challenges and you push forward even when it comes to tedious tasks. So, what's the race date? We start Monday, December 16th. So, depending on what day you see this video, it might be before or after this day. Let me just encourage you, even if it's after December 16th, let's say you join the community in January, join anyway. Of course, you will have less time and it'll be less likely that you will win unless you really put your head down and grind. But hey, the whole point is about having fun and pushing yourself. So even if you're joining this race on February, okay, you got until February 22nd. You got 22 days. That's fine. But if you are seeing this before December 16th, then hey, um, that's huge. That's big. Start strong that Monday, and we end that Saturday. All right, rewards. This is just basically a PS. Rewards may take up to a month to be received. The rewards are explained in this form. Here are the rewards. There's first, second, third place rewards for all four categories. So read those, and I think you're going to enjoy what we have going on. But here is the disclaimer. They may take up to a month to be received. So let's say you won February 22nd, you're one of the winners. It's possible that it'll take up to March 22nd. Since the community so far isn't large enough to sustain itself, and we rely on trustworthy sponsors, but busy sponsors nonetheless. So please be a patient winner if you do win. But me asking you to be patient doesn't mean you can't remind me and tell me. There is no offense that's going to be taken. Even the fall race winners, some of you haven't received your rewards yet, and we are getting there, okay? So feel no problem in, hey, how's it going? And reminding me. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so now let's get to the actual form. You put your first and last name here. First and last name of the participant. I'm going to go ahead and start filling this out. Eric Brown. Even if you are, this is very important, even if you are the most productive member of the community and you are the most productive competitor in all four categories. If you do not report your progress, it's like it didn't happen. We won't know. And so you risk losing and you might get upset if you lose. But the question here is, do you understand and agree to this? That means if you are progressing, you have to report it to school, otherwise we won't know. So that's pretty logical. Just put yes. Um, and I can't imagine somebody would put no. But anyway, that's just a question to make sure you understand that it's your responsibility to report progress. We don't have cameras hidden all over the world. I don't have that kind of budget. So here are the summary of the four categories. Number one, book, and there are some changes, so pay close attention. Number one, book reader. This category is all about reading books. It's pretty straightforward. The person who reads the most books wins. Number two, audience builder. This category is all about your online presence. Specifically, Instagram is what we're working with because we have specific metrics right now and a point system that's going to be working for us this winter race. The person who invests into their brand the most and grows their audience the most wins. This, for many people, can be a tedious task, which is why I like that it's a race category because it forces us to look at it as a game. It's a fun game, and we will be helping providing more and more resources to help you be a high achiever in all four of these categories. We're still working on that. The Elemental Author, for example, that's a course that we're working on with the edits and the recordings, and we want to make sure we put out good value. So that's why some of the videos are taking long to post, and I apologize for that. But we're gonna be making more and more videos and lessons and courses to give you tools and resources and knowledge to be a high achiever in any category that you want to be a high achiever in. So that's number two. Number three, world creator. This category is all about precisely the writing and the publishing of your book. The person who gathers the most points wins. There's a point system when it comes to this category, and we will explain it later in the form. And number four, community leader. This is a big change because the fall race, what we did was number three was the writing and publishing of the book, and number four is the selling of the book. Well, that has changed. We basically put those two things together into category three. For example, if you sell books, that goes into the point system. That's now all part of category number three. Number four is a totally different category now. And you don't have to do this, just like you don't have to do any of them, but it's a very fun. I'm looking forward to the rewards as well of this category. This category, community leader, is all about sharing the fun with others. The more participants in this race, the merrier, right? And the better the rewards get. So this category is designed to incentivize you and me and anybody to invite others into our school community, the writer's race. And the person who invites the most people into our school community wins. That's basically just an extra incentive. Has nothing to do with actual reading or writing, but it has everything to do with building a resourceful community with more people. And I think that is a very special thing. And we'll dive in later into why I think that. But that's just an extra incentive for anybody that has friends, authors, or just people in general that follow you online on social media. It's an incentive so that we can talk more about this community and get it to grow, and that way the games can get funner, more fun. Am I saying that right? Come on, Eric, you're a writer. Anyway, so there are the rewards. Of course, the first category has everything to do with books. The second category has everything to do with help online. The third category has to do with funds for your project. And then the community leaders, there's different adventures and activities and fun things that there will be rewards for. All right, so basically you put which category will you race in. You can only select one because that will prompt the next section depending on which one you select. You can select an additional category later, so don't worry. Um, this is not a place where you can select all four. You just start with the first one if you want to join the first one, or start with whichever one you want to join. I'm going to go in order. So I want to be part of the book reader category. Next. So boom, book reader section appears because I clicked on that. And every section that you select, it will, depending on which option you select, it will basically show you the rules of that category. And then you say that you understand the rules and you agree to participate in that category. And well, let's just go through it real quick. This category is straightforward. Read most books, win. There's nothing else to it. Just like in all categories, if you don't post your progress, we can't count it and you will lose. Whenever you finish a book, we encourage you to post a review in school so that it can be counted on the scoreboard in your name. So let's go to school real quick. Oh no, what am I doing? There we go. So here's school, right? And I'm gonna edit and update the categories because it's not, the categories have different titles now. But anyway, you go to the category that is according to your um, category of the race. And you go there and you post it. So you write whatever book review, you write whatever you want. And I mean this we've been through this before. And you post your progress and you select the category on where you have made that progress so that we can get that report and put it on your scoreboard. That's basically what it's saying there. And that is applicable to all four categories. Okay, anyway, books must be read and reported within the race date limits. If you report that you finished a book, I don't know, the 15th of December, well, that's before the 16th of December. We will not count that book. If you report that you finished a book the 23rd of February, that's after the race has ended, so we will not count that. Pretty obvious things, but just we just have to mention it. Now, for help and accountability, we have prepared weekly Race with Me sessions for you. So if you go here, you go to the calendar, you can see the Race with Me sessions. We've been doing this for a while. Most of you are already familiar with it. And this is a place, those Zooms you can connect to, and you can use that time to read your books. You can just connect and listen to the ambient music and read your book. My wife Paulina does that. She's going through her books every time there's a Race with Me session. She has that time set apart for that. And that's especially helpful if you just can't find a time and it forces you to stop whatever it is you're doing, to stop your to-do list and, oh, hey, I got to join the Zoom, right? So now, of course, this Zoom is also for any other category, but I'm just mentioning it in this one. You can advance in any other race category. If you want to advance in your Instagram, in your writing, in whatever, you can connect to the Race with Me Zooms. That's a tool we have there for you. And it has proven to be helpful for several members. By the way, PS, if you can't make it to the Zooms because it just doesn't work with your schedule, let me know. And if enough members request a new day and time, for example, hey, why don't we do Tuesdays at 9 p.m., in the evening? Okay, if enough people, request that, then heck, let's do that. We can definitely accommodate. So remember, you and I, we're the members of this group. We are the ones that make this group what it is. So speak up, definitely. I encourage you if that's necessary. Now, here's the first question when it comes to the book reader category. I understand the rules and agree to participate in this category. And this question, by the way, is in all four categories, all four sections. If I disagree with the competition's results or if I need additional information, I will not make assumptions. Go crazy. I will not make assumptions and I will speak directly to the Writers Raised hosts to clarify, knowing that while they will do their best to be fair and just, they aren't obligated to fulfill my wishes. So this is just a small disclaimer because this is something very important to me. You all need to know that this is not a trick. This is genuinely a fun game, and we are a fun community. The moment this becomes a nasty competition where we are mean to each other, that's the moment the community gets destroyed. So, this is a very important question for me. At the end of the day, there can be misunderstandings. Let's just go into this world and into life knowing that that's a fact. There can be, unfair things or results that it's just part of life. So this is why this is basically a question saying, hey, if you disagree with something, let's talk about it. Let's clarify. Let's get into an agreement, or but just have a a good attitude about things. At the end of the day, it's a game, just like soccer, just like basketball. The moment we get violent with the other team, that's the moment it's no longer fun. Okay, so this is just a question in every category where you put yes, I agree, and I will, or you're like, nah, I, you know, again, I can't imagine somebody will put no, but it's just an important disclaimer. Yes, I agree to participate in this race, and yes, I will. If I disagree, whatever, I will have a good attitude about things, and not just lash out and snap at the and make this a nasty community. It is supposed to be a competition, but that nasty competitive spirit we're trying to avoid. All right, so that's in all of them. Then, would you like to participate in another category? This is where you can but no, I'm ready to submit this form and you're done. Or yes, please, category two. And same thing, basically. Oh, you can't go to the next section unless you answer everything. Okay. Yes, category two, please, audience builder. All right. Here it explains the rules, the metrics on which basically how you can win in this category. It's very specific now. So you got to read through this thing. You got to read everything. And then, yes, I agree and I will. Same question we talked about earlier. Has everything to do with the attitude and you agreeing to participate in this game. And then the things and that we need to measure your metrics for the actual race. And then you can say, would you like to participate in another category? Yes. Um, you can either go back to category one, which I mean, I guess would be kind of silly, or you can go yes to category three or to category four if you don't want to participate in category three, whatever you want. So let's go through this real quick. Having an online presence and brand has become more essential every single day, especially when it comes to being a successful author or successful in almost anything, right? It's marketing, it's branding, it's you get your books out there, you need an audience. So this category is designed to turn that overwhelming task into a fun, incentivized game. The rules are simple. We take a look at two metrics, okay? The following and the engagement. Those are the two metrics. And of course, the engagement is the most valuable metric. The following, basically eyes that are looking at you, and the engagement, people that are, liking and commenting and sharing your content um, of your Instagram account, right? That's it. That's the game. It's a fun game. It's an overwhelming world, the marketing world. It's a negative world. It's a terrible world of comparisons and just low self-esteem. And it's just a crazy lifestyle if you want to be a content creator. And it can be such a negative task and such a negative platform. So we decided to take those two metrics uh, that are like these dark metrics and this dark pool of comparisons and turn it into a fun game. Uh, because you are rewarded not according to raw numbers in our fun game. It's according to percentage, to proportion. So that those are the rules basically. We take a look at those two metrics, we turn it into a game, we encourage each other, we build each other up, we give each other tips and suggestions on how to make better content, how to put our books out there a little better, or how to just build our audience even if we don't have a book yet, and we're just trying to build our audience. We can do all of that together and grow in these two metrics. But this is the very important rule. It's according to proportion, not raw numbers. So here's an example. Person A goes from 500 followers to 1,000 followers, right? So raw numbers, how many followers did he get? 500. 500 to 1,000, that's 500 more. But when it comes to percentage, how much percent did he grow? He grew 100% because 100% of 500 is 500. So therefore, you add that together, that's 1,000. Okay. Person B goes from 20,000 to 22,000 followers. So raw numbers, I mean, That's 2,000. So person A grew only 500 while person B grew 2,000. So according to raw numbers, person B is the winner. However, it's not very fair, is it? Person B seems to have a very big head start. So imagine if these two are competing in the same race in the same game, it's not very fun. And the whole point is to make this fun. So, in our race, person A is the winner in this example. Why? Because person A grew 100%. 500 of 500, that's 100%. While person B grew 2,000. And 2,000 out of 20,000, what is that? That is 10%. So, person A won by 90 percentage points, essentially, right? Because we look at the percentage. That way, nobody gets a head start, and the race is as fair as possible, regardless of where you begin. Now, one could argue it's still not fair because the more you have, the faster you can grow. You can put all the arguments you want, and yeah, we'll probably never get the most ideal heavenly competition. But this is as fair as it's going to get. This is as good as it's going to get, and I think it's pretty fun. And then we look, so we look at both metrics: followers, your growth when it comes to followers, and your growth when it comes to engagement. Now, engagement is worth double. Okay, so let's put this all together. Engagement is worth double. So let's say you have you started the race with 100 followers and an average of 50 engagements. Now, what's an engagement? A like, a comment, or a share. Okay, are you following? So you got 20 likes, an average of 20 likes, an average of 15 comments, and an average of 15 shares per post in your account. So that's your engagement. You have an average of 50 engagements per post and 100 followers. And that's how you start in December. Later, it's February, and you finish the race with 200 followers. You manage during these 3 months of the winter race, you manage to grow an extra 100 followers. And you now have an average of 100 engagements per post. Okay, so that means you grew 100% when in the first metric, followers, and you grew another 100% in the next metric because you went from 50 to 100. So you grew 100 percentage points there, 100 percentage points there. So altogether, that's 200 percentage points. But you got 300 percentage points. Why? Because engagement is worth double, remember? So if you grew 100 percentage points in engagement, that's 200 points. So here's a summary. You grew 100% in following, that's 100 points, and you grew 100% in engagement, that's 200 points because it's worth double. So you get 300 percentage points. The person with most percentage points wins. That simple, and it's that clear. Very easy to calculate. And that way there will be no, oh no, I think I deserve the win. No, there are no feelings in this. It's just math. And I know the math can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we will take care of that part. So for this to work though, we need to know your current metrics at the beginning of the race so we can compare them to your metrics at the end of the race and determine a winner. We need to know how many followers you have right now and your average engagements per post right now. So please respond the following questions truthfully and carefully. So let's look at the following questions. This is the general question we already talked about. Then here you're going to share your Instagram account link. That's very easy. Just go to your Instagram, share your account, copy link, and paste it here in the form. So for example, mine is instagram.com/Eric Brown. If you're on a computer, it's slash whatever your username is. Pretty easy, straightforward. So I copy that. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. Copy that, go to the form, paste. There it is. There's a link. If you can't for the life of you find the link, just put your username. But it should be very easy. Okay, now how many Instagram followers do you currently have? What's your answer? Okay, I currently have 1,305. I'm gonna put 1,305. That number is what I'm going to compare to the end of the race to see how many I grew. Now, you put the link here. So if you lie on any of these numbers, we're gonna double check with the link and we're going to know. Um, so anyway, uh, just so you know. And then how many likes do you currently get? Now, how are we going to get this number? Because every post is different. We're simply going to calculate the average of your 5 most recent posts. So when at the time of filling this form out, grab your 5 most recent posts. So for me, it's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, right? These one. Uh, you grab those 5 posts, and you get the average likes, and there you put the number. Okay. So I'm actually going to do, let's do somebody's account. Let's do Paulina. Let's do Paulina's account. All right. So here you can see the likes 15 plus 92 plus 28 plus 68 plus 85. See, the numbers are so random. So if we just grab one post, it wouldn't be fair. Um, so let's grab the 5 most recent posts, and that way we can see the average results that you get. So how can I do this? I'm just gonna do the math in my head. It's gonna be bad math, but just so that we can move faster. So it's 85 here plus 68 plus 28 plus 92 plus 15. I would say, let's just say about 60, 70 seems it could be maybe since 15, that's pretty low, so it could bring it down to 55. Let's just say 55. Um, so make sure that number is exact, though. How do you get the average? We should all know this. If we all went to school, you add up the numbers and then you divide it by 5, and then you put the result. Okay. How many comments do you currently get? So the same thing. How many comments did she has here? 3. We have 17. We have 4, 4, 2. So let's just say the 17, that brings it up pretty high. So let's just say 7. Right? Same thing. You add up all the comments and then you divide it by 5, and that's the average. Right? These are obviously wrong because I'm not actually doing the math. How many shares do you currently get? You can also view that. I'm not sure you can view it here on the computer, but you can definitely, most certainly view it. Yep, I can't view it here on the computer. You can most certainly view it on the phone. Same thing, add them up, divided by 5. Now, obviously, if you're going to participate in this race, every time you post something, you have the ability to hide the likes and the shares or show the number of likes and shares. Obviously, if you want to have any, if you want to, how do I say this? You need to show them. If you want to participate, you need to show them because otherwise we can't double check. All right, so let's just say she gets an average of 3 shares per post. Okay, and that's it. Those are the 2 metrics that we look at: the followers and the engagement, which is composed of these 3. And we're looking at the average of your 5 most recent posts. And then once the race is over, the 22nd of February, we're also going to look at your 5 most recent posts. Now, obviously, if you haven't posted anything in all those 3 months, it's going to be the same 5 posts, and you're going to have the same results. You're not going to win. So, you determine what strategy you want to use to build your audience, but there's definitely good strategies out there. Let's help each other in the community. Let's talk to each other. But definitely whoever puts in the most effort, there's going to be the winner. Now we go to category number 3, world creator. Um, yeah, this video is getting kind of long, but it's necessary. Make sure there's no questions. Okay. World Creator, it's time to finally write that book and publish it. Some of you are beginning this race from scratch. Others are beginning this race while they are already well into their second draft of the book. So, how can we keep this race fair while allowing everyone to participate, no matter what part of the process they start the race in? So, here's what we have come up with: this point system. Thank you, um, Laura. Thank you, Laura, for the idea of a point system. So here's how it will work in the winter race. Now, if you have any suggestions for the next race, we would love to hear it. We always want to improve. If there's a way to improve the point system, um, give us the ideas. But the rules for this winter race are set already. Okay, so any ideas that you have will can be implemented. I'm not going to guarantee it, but it can be implemented in the next race, the spring race. Okay, so point system. Um, the zooms, we want to give a point, just a point. It's not like I don't want to give too many points because maybe some people have scheduling issues and they're just not able to. But at the same time, I do want to give a point because I think it's cool to incentivize us being together in Zoom. So just 1 point per Zoom if you connect to the race with me Zooms. And then we get serious here. If you complete a chapter, that's 2 points. If you complete a draft of your book from start to finish, that's 25 points per draft. There are some people that like to, you got to write a second draft, obviously. So that's another 25. And I know some people that write up to 5 drafts. And so there's 25 times 5 if they manage to write all 5 drafts in the time frame. Um, but let's say you already did your first 3 drafts, but you want to do a fourth draft uh, for this race to get 25 points because you started this race after your third draft. You can do that. Anyway, a draft of your book is equal to 25 points, period. And then complete edits and notes on a draft. That's 15 points. So let me just make a quick parenthesis. If you look online, the process of creating a book, of publishing a book, of writing a book, and if you talk to different authors, and there's 1,000 different processes and 1,000 different things we could do. And we can't make the point system that complicated. And also there's some things that some authors do that other authors don't. So that's why there's a lot of things that aren't included in the point system. Um, Things that you may do. You might create a Word document for each character. I would love to reward you points for that, but not everybody does that. So that's just so that we're trying to put things in the point system that we know everybody or most people will do. So anyway, back here. Obviously, people need to write a draft. That's just has to happen. And then edits and notes. I think of all the strategies authors have and all the routines authors have to write their book, everybody that I know has mentioned that they make notes on a draft. So this is less points than a draft, but it's still a good amount of points. What does edits and notes mean? It means you complete a whole draft and then you edit and put notes in that entire draft. It's different than a draft. You're not creating a second draft. So you do your first draft and you're not creating a second draft. You're just editing the first draft. You're putting notes. I like to do it this way. You print out your whole first draft and you just go to town on it with a pencil and you're editing and writing around the paper. And once you complete edits and notes on your entire first draft, then you get those 15 points. And then maybe you write a second draft, and so you get 25 points. And then you do the edits and notes on that second draft, and you get an extra 15 points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the distinction between the drafts and the notes. Okay. Anyway, next, audiences. Everybody needs feedback, right? Once you're getting done with those drafts and those edits and notes and you're getting a little more comfortable, you write all your chapters, you're pretty much done. You need the beta, and I didn't include, but some people even have alpha audiences. So there's alpha, beta, arc. The point is you get a point per person finished. So if a person reads through your book and gives you feedback, you get a point for that person. Why a point? I would give more points because honestly, sometimes we don't get a large arc audience, right? And you would wish that a person is, you know, if a person reads your book, they're worth more than 1 point. But I know some people that have gotten hundreds of people in their arc audience. So I'm like, nah, yeah, we got to just do 1 point. So this will be an incentive, I guess, for you to get more people. If you get hundreds of people, then hey, you get hundreds of points. But they have to finish the book, not just sign up to read it. They have to read through it, right? And then once you publish your book and make it available to buy, that's 100 points. You're hitting the lottery there. That's 100 points. And then if you sell for every copy that you sell, that's 2 points per copy sold. Okay, so that's the point system. It might move around in the next races, but this is the way it's going to be for this race. Progress not reported in school will not be counted. Okay, so obviously, every time you connect to Zoom, maybe, well, I can see that. You don't have to report that because we see you, but why not, right? Why not take a picture of the Zoom and say, hey, we're here, hanging out. We had a good time, whatever. When you complete a chapter, let us know. Post about it. When you complete a draft of your book, for sure. And edits and notes on that draft. When you get somebody to read your book and they give you feedback, hey, share that feedback. We want to be encouraged by your progress, but at the same time, we don't just want to be encouraged. And we don't just want to hold each other accountable. We also want to update the scoreboard. And of course, let us know when you publish your book and when you sell a copy, because that is encouraging. We encourage you to post all your wins in progress, but points will only be granted when an action is wholly completed. Okay, so let's say you're halfway you're halfway through a chapter, or you're halfway through a draft. You don't get points because you're halfway. But that doesn't mean, just because you don't get points, it doesn't mean we don't want you to post about it. Go ahead and post about it. Tell us that you're halfway through your draft. You don't get any points for that, but we get encouraged. So here are examples of progress without reward that we encourage, that you talk about. If you're halfway through a draft, I already said that. If you're editing or putting notes on an incomplete draft, you don't get points because you have to be editing and putting notes on a complete draft. But let's say you just wanted to go to town on a specific chapter. Hey, tell us about it. Uh, a person signs up to be an ARC reader. That doesn't give you a point because the reader must finish reading the book and provide feedback to you for the point to be awarded. But hey, tell us how many people are signing up to be an ARC reader for you. Now, of course, you might not be able to access all of these points. Let's say you join the race and your book is pretty much almost ready to be published. Well, you might not get all those drafting points because you already did your drafts before the race even began, but you can still get the 100 points. You can still get the points per people. You can still get the points for sales, right? So everybody starts in a different place and are focused on different points. Let's say you're starting from scratch. It's very unlikely that you will get the book published points, unless you're determined to publish within those 3 months, to write from the beginning of the first draft to the publishing of the book. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it, but it's less likely. So that means you're focused on these points, on the completion of chapters, drafts, and notes, right? Everybody has a different strategy going into this race. Now, you can only participate with one project per race, okay? Now, here's basically what I was talking about. You can participate with an already published book as well. If you're confident you'll be able to win the race with sales points alone, right? If you're confident that your book is going to be a bestseller, hey, I just published it before the race began, but I want to participate with this book because I'm confident it's going to be a bestseller and I'm going to sell 1 billion copies and I'm going to get 2 points per copy and I'm going to win. Hey, by all means, participate with that project. It seems pretty hard though. So we obviously encourage you to race with an unpublished project. The newer the project, here we go. This is the summary of what I'm telling you. The newer the project, the more potential for points, right? Because the earlier you start, the more potential for these early project points. And of course, if you work through all the way to the end, you get all the points. So the newer the project, the more potential for points. But the older the project, the closer you are to being published and hitting that jackpot of 100 points. So there's pros and cons no matter where you start. It's your call. You are welcome to strategize before December 16th. You are welcome to strategize what you're going to focus on, which points you're going to focus on. Be in it to win it. That's what I say. Strategize, decide which project you want to participate in, which project you think is more likely to be published, but at the same time will give you points from every other part of the point system. You are welcome to strategize. All right, so here are the same questions. I understand the rules, da da da. Put your title of your project. Put your name here, your pen name, the way it will appear on your book. If it's the same name that you put at the beginning of the form, that's fine. But just to make a cool leaderboard, we want to put your pen name. And then will you like to participate in another category? There's only one left. Let's put category 4. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. Yes. And let's go to this last category. I know this video is long. I apologize. I do talk a lot, don't I? Okay, community leader. Watch this video in bits and pieces, I guess. Community leader. This is the category that feeds all other categories. Without racers, a race is dull. It's boring. Also, without community members, there's no audience. And without an audience, there are no cheers. There's no encouragement. And also, when people gather, resources follow, which means the rewards get bigger and better. So in many ways, this is one of the most important categories. Because without people, what's the point of all this, right? And it goes like this. This is how this category works. Invite people to our school community, the writers race. This community right here. For every person who accepts your invitation, you get a point. And the racer with most people, you're not only the winner if you invited the most people, and you didn't only get the most points and you won, but you are also responsible for enriching this community with more wonderful humans, which is a win-win for all of us. All right. So since this category is probably the hardest, it's one we want to reward generously. We love this category because at the end of the day, whoever joins our community could likely be the next best-selling author out there. Or perhaps a new member finds your book appealing and becomes an ARC reader for you. You just don't know what can happen, which is why we are in love with this new category. If a new member enters the community thanks to you, we want to encourage you to post an introduction. Hey, this member just entered just write something along the lines of welcome. I don't know, let's say a Matt joined. Let's say Taylor invited a Matt, and Taylor writes, "Hey, Matt, welcome. We're glad you're here. Whatever." uh, yeah, just an introduction post, just so they can, for two reasons. Number one, so that they can feel welcome, and number two, so that we can update your scoreboard, and we know, okay, Matt is here thanks to Taylor, so Taylor gets a point. Now, of course, there are shy people out there, and maybe Matt is like, no, Taylor, please don't introduce me publicly. That's embarrassing. Okay, then just send me a private message so that I can update your scoreboard. Right? And then same question, I agree and I will. And then you can say, I'm ready to submit this form. Next, click submit to finish and click submit. And you're done. There you go. I hope everything was clear. I know it's a long video. Watch it bits and pieces, but I thought the necessary to explain everything. I hope everything was understood well. And let's have some fun. Okay, so go to that form, register on whichever category you want to, or don't go to the form if you're like, nah, I'm good. I'll just watch from a distance. And enjoy this community and enjoy the race. And let's make this winter race an awesome one and have some fun with these categories. And if you need help, like always, we're here, we're in it together. Let's do this.